Notts County talk, days away from the beginning of the season, so we thought we would do a prediction of the whole table. Just a bit of fun. No chance we're going to get them all right, or many right probably, but yeah, we're going to do it. We're going to see where we think teams will finish. We haven't actually seen each other's predictions yet, so it should be interesting. Before we start, you'll see at the bottom, looks sadly like it's going to be a 23-team league, doesn't it?
Unfortunately so, yeah.
So we've got an asterisk next to Macclesfield's name. Now, we were confused, weren't we? We've obviously, everyone's heard that the club's dissolved, it's been wound up. They're still on the National League's website. The non-league paper has omitted the fixture from their fixture lists, so it looks like it's not going ahead. Bromley have tweeted that they don't even know if they're starting the season on Saturday against Macclesfield, so it's up in the air. I mean, we hope they do join the league, but as it stands, it's a 23-team league, and on that note, we're going to do with the possibility of only 3 teams getting relegated.
Yeah.
If they were to join the league, they've made some good signings, and I think for me it would have been bottom half or battling relegation just because the troubles off the pitch.
Yeah, it's awful to see really when you look at a club that's borderline 150 years of age, going through something like that. It's been a long time coming now, I think, hasn't it? Even since we were relegated, they've been struggling. But nevertheless, it's the heart of a community, isn't it? A football club. So I hope for all the Macclesfield fans, it does resolve itself, and you've still got a club to support. But at this moment in time, it's a bit up in the air, isn't it? It looks like it has dissolved, but yeah. Do you want to move on to
Kick it off. Here we go.
Right then, 23rd. I've gone for Weymouth.
I've gone for Weymouth.
Copied me, ain't you?
No, for me, it just feels like it's going to be another season where they're going to be like a Chorley. You always get one of them.
Yeah.
Chorley came, they looked okay at spells, but they just ended up being battered around by teams. I remember at Meadow Lane, went 1-0 up, and Notts did not play well and still won 5-1.
I think things you've got to consider about teams that have just come up from the league below as well. Like the standard of the National League, we've said it like pretty much since the start of the season, haven't we? We couldn't believe how high the standard was. And with obviously the wage cap coming in higher up, I think you're going to get better players dropping down to be paid more. So I do think teams like that will struggle to sign good players. Not struggle to sign good players, but like players that are consistently going to be up there every week. So for me, Weymouth. I'm sorry, Weymouth fans.
First one, we've got it the same, right?
22nd then.
Who have you gone for?
I've gone for Maidenhead.
I've gone for Wealdstone.
Ray'd not be happy about that one.
Yeah, again, it's a tough league to come into. It really is. I mean, one of these teams will probably end up finishing mid-table and do really well, but for me, noticeable. I mean, they've got Danny Parish that scored against Leyton Orient in the FA Cup. The signings haven't been brilliant. I mean, they could do well, and a good season would be to survive by a point for me.
That's a fair point. I can't disagree with you on that one.
21st?
Kings Lynn, for me.
Dover. I've gone Dover Athletic.
Oh my word.
I mean, there's a lot going on at the minute, isn't there, where they're saying they're a week, 2 weeks away possibly from, or if there's no fans or no funding, going under. I mean, they're the only club being vocal about it, but 90% of clubs probably in the same boat. So it just looks worse than it is. But for me, they've not had a great pre-season. They've not done very well in pre-season. And they've got a very, very tough start.
Yeah.
Like a very tough start. And I think that will snowball and it'll carry on. I think they've got Stockport in the first. They've got some of the real big teams in the first 5 games. For me, it's going to carry on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Done on that one. 20 then.
Who've you gone?
I've gone Chesterfield.
Kings Lynn.
Well, that's fair enough. I mean, one place apart.
So if we go for, well, do I say someone like Chesterfield?
Yeah. So I think last season when we played them, I mean, fair enough, they gave us a good game, but in the home fixture in the league, we battered them, didn't we? Really?
Yeah, Enzio Screamer.
Fitzsimmons, masterclass as well.
Yeah.
But I just don't see them as much as a substantial club, and it is a shame because I do feel like they're one of the teams that are in this league that shouldn't really be in this league. You know,
Yeah, agreed.
You sort of see them as a league club. So I hope I'm wrong, but from what I saw last season and what I've seen from pre-season, I just can't see him doing too well.
Now I've gone Kings Lynn, and if Macclesfield aren't in the league, then it's however they work it out. It could be 3 teams relegation. I've gone Kings Lynn to survive, and I've gone Kings Lynn to survive because of striker Adam Marriott. I think he got 28 league goals last season. He's going to keep them up.
Fair.
We've seen if you have a goal scorer in this league, you do well, no matter what level you're at.
Yeah.
Your Barrows had Quigley. They've gone up. You know what I mean? You've got that goal scorer. You can concede, and we do see teams concede quite a lot, but you just got to outscore them in the National League. So I'm going Kings Lynn to stay up. That's my 21st. 20th?
So we'll go 19th then. I've got Altrincham.
Okay. Oh, I've gone Barnet.
Barnet.
I've gone Barnet. I mean, I see why you've gone Altrincham. For me, Barnet, they looked terrible in the playoffs, didn't they? Against a Yeovil side that...
They still got through there.
They got through, but they looked terrible against us as well.
They signed a few players though, Barnet have.
But they've lost Akinola, they've lost Courthurst, they've lost Filete, and they've lost Tutonda.
Yeah.
They're big players too. They're the mainstays.
Yeah.
I mean, when I say they look bad against Notts, they could have lost by 5 goals to Yeovil. They cleared it off the line about 10 times.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
And I'm going to use a cliche: hangover from the season before.
Yeah, I know, but it's bitter taste in our mouths as well, isn't it?
No hangover.
Fair enough.
Go on then, move on.
18th, I've gone Willstone.
I'm controversial here.
I think they're going to stay up.
Really?
I'm all for your Raider.
No, I've gone them second spot. I'm going Bromley. Bromley, if you remember last season, they were about first or second for the first 2, 3, 4 months. And then they just plummeted like a stone. Now I'm going to give you a stat, because I'm a stats man. Bromley,
Loves it.
winless in their last 9 league games. I'm going to use it again. Hangover. And a Bromley hangover. And they're 2 shocks for me, but there's always a few teams that mess up like that.
It looks like there's a few teams that will hang over this season. Forest being one of them as well.
I can't complain about that.
Can't complain.
Go on then.
17th,
Altrincham.
I've gone Woking.
Altrincham are surprised to be in the league.
Yeah.
They beat York, I think it was, in the playoffs, who were favourites to win it. They won 5 straight, if you include the playoffs, to end the season, and won 9 in 12. Not a hangover, whatever you call that. Momentum, that's the word. Momentum. They're going to have momentum coming in. They're going to be confident.
That's fair.
Not a hangover.
Right, so 16th.
Who are you going?
I've gone Dover.
Fair play.
I don't know. I thought they was all right. Like you said, I'm not done well in pre-season. I just think football is never that black and white.
No,
Do you know what I mean?
not.
It's never that black and white, and I do feel they've got quality. So I mean, 16th isn't a great quality team, but the National League for me this season, there's probably going to be some shocks as we go further up, but I think it's going to be tight. So
okay.
I'm going Dover.
So you're going Dover. I'm going Chesterfield. They signed Nathan Tyson. He's about 40. For me, they're not bringing the quality of players in they need. They're not, and it's nothing about being a Notts fan and Chesterfield are rivals, but the quality of players that they're brought in, it's just not exciting. And they did not have a good season last season. I think they went 12 without a win at one point. For me, it's another nothing season. I'm sorry, Chesterfield fans.
What hangover?
no hangover for this one. No. Go on then.
15th, I've gone Eastleigh. Notts County second team.
Why have you gone? Why have you gone Eastleigh there?
I don't know, I just feel like they're a bit of a mediocre side. I don't see them with much of threat really. Do you know?
Didn't they beat us on the opening day?
The opening day we were in shambles. Absolute shambles. I think me and you could have beat us on opening day.
I think on the opening day, not a hangover, didn't they?
Yeah, they had a massive hangover.
I've gone Boreham Wood. I'm throwing them out controversial here. Boreham Wood for me.
I thought they were quality.
They were. They're always a decent team, right? Like Shaquille Courthurst, they've signed from Barnet, I think it is. He could be a good signing, but they've lost Tyrone Marsh to the Football League. Now he's a good player for them. He is a good player. This means nothing, but they're not the biggest team. They can't attract the best players, and I just think they did very well the season before, very well again. You rarely see teams pushing the playoffs or that high up the league 2 or 3 years consecutively that aren't a big team, if you know what I mean. Now, it's not me being big-headed about Notts or anything. It's just hard. It's not. It's hard for a smaller team in the division to consistently be at the top if they don't.
No, I agree with what you're saying, but I do feel on the flip side to that, such as Notts have got a huge pressure. You know, you've got teams like Wrexham, you know, even older shots, Stockport, they're going to have huge pressure on them this season.
Fair.
And you've got to make sure that the players in that team can deal with that pressure. And I think smaller teams with maybe the lesser players, they've not got that pressure. It's almost like Barrow last season.
True. Right, moving on.
Where were we? 15th, so 14th. I've gone Solihull.
That's a shot.
Now, for me, this is where the league starts getting tight as obviously the season comes to an end for me. I don't think they're going to be, you know, sort of 15, 20 points off
drift,
playoffs. I think it's going to be like maybe 6 or 9 points max.
Fair.
Solihull impressed me last season a lot, really, because
Defensively sound,
yeah, very, very, very good side, but they've not really got that attacking intent. And as much as, you know, the defensive football does work at the highest of levels, you know, I just can't see them sort of having that spark to nick that late goal. Or look, I could be wrong. It's just the way the video goes. But like I say, last season I was quite impressed by him.
I'm going Sutton. For me, no disrespect, they're nothing special. They've got Harry Beautyman. If he gets injured, I think he got double figures last season from sort of midfield-ish. If he gets injured, for me, they're in a bit of a mess. Like, he's a very, very good player.
Yep.
I mean, looking at signings, they've signed Toby Show Silver from Halifax, and he got 6 in 36. Nothing to shout about. We've seen these players, a lot of them last season who we were watching out for on the opposition, had poor seasons the season before and scored a lot. But for me, Sutton will be a decent season if they finish in that 14th spot.
Ready to go on to 13th then. Unlucky for some. I've gone Bromley.
I've gone Woking. Again, Woking, they were very good last season. They just missed out on the playoffs. Finished 10th, so I've gone for them to drop down a tad, but I think the quality of this league this season, with some of the signings we're probably going to mention,
I think they're going to have a hangover from last season because they didn't make playoffs.
Oh, yeah. No, I think they've got solid players. They've got Kane Ferdinand, very good player. He's played a lot of games.
Very good, yeah.
Just a solid, decent team, always going to be tricky to beat. Yeah?
Yeah, I'd definitely agree with you on that one.
Right.
12th, I'm going controversial here. Going to upset some fans, but I don't really care. Yeovil.
You're going to upset some fans big time.
Not bothered. The reason I chose Yeovil is because last season they were a good team, real stiff team, but I do feel like they've got a lot of weaknesses, haven't they? They've made a couple of signings. Are they going to be pushing further up the table? Like I said, don't get me wrong, we're pushing on to 12th now. So this is for the point to me where it's going to be a few points adrift of the playoffs.
Yeah.
So it's not like you're going to have an awful season, but I just can't see them making playoffs.
Fair play. I've actually mixed two teams up here. 13th was Maidenhead. So I'm going 12th Woking, 13th Maidenhead. And Maidenhead were my big surprise. I like Joshua Smile, midfielder.
Why's that?
Always got a smile on his face. No, they're going to be a big shock. If they finish anywhere up there, for a psychic honour, because they're probably not, but there we go. What are we at now? 11th?
Yep.
Eastleigh for me.
I've gone Torquay.
Pierce Bird, Joe McDonnell, both signed from Notts. Both are not players to get any.
Easy goal against keeper anyway.
Yeah.
You don't even have to do anything.
Drop it like against Hartlepool only twice. Solid players. They're not any better than 11th for me. Yeah,
I mean, obviously, it's easy to go off the Notts players that we've signed. We liked Bird, didn't we? Thought he was a good player. I think he could be a good first team starter for Eastleigh, to be honest with you. I think he'd be solid.
But if you want to get higher up,
yeah, you need to have someone partnering him in it.
You do.
So we'll go over to 10th now. I've gone for Sutton.
Okay. Nothing team. Can't say that. 10th, I've gone Torquay. They've got a good manager in Gary Johnson.
Nice kit.
Nice kit. Available on Pro Direct if you're into shirts. Nice shirt.
What's sponsorship or?
Could be. They've signed Fraser Kerr. Good signing. I think Torquay really have the potential to be better than this, but I just don't see it. Old Football League club. I just think this league has got a lot of quality, more than last season. I think
clubs like Torquay as well. You know, even like us. You look at like the bigger clubs in the league. So, I mean, obviously, I hate saying not so big team because you know we're in the National League. We're not that big a club, but we have a big following. So you've got like Stockport, Wrexham, Hartlepool have got a big following. Clubs like that, like they're used to having a big number of fans in the stadium. Will that affect the likes of Torquay? You know, like the clubs I've just mentioned there, possibly could. I mean, and I don't want to go off key, but I think that could be what's happening with Forest, because like they fill their stadium most home games, don't they? And you know, it carries them through. And I do think some teams do miss the 12th man.
Have they won yet, Forest?
We'll talk about it.
Have they scored yet? They've scored the same amount of goals.
To be fair, they lost their last game 1-0. They're getting better.
They've scored the same amount of goals as Notts, and Notts aren't even started the season, so shocker.
Sorry.
9th.
Dagenham and Redbridge.
You're wrong. 9th is Hartlepool. Midfield wizard, Tom Crawford.
Yeah.
But he can't do it all on his own, unfortunately. Got Gary Liddell, experience, Crawford, youth, but they've lost a few good players. So 9th, they battered Notts away from home last season.
Proper battered.
Battered. That's the most elegant way I can put it. They gave us a thumping.
Yeah, you got the Thesaurus out for that one. Thesaurus even.
But 9th, yeah.
Yeah. I'm going 8th now.
You're not gonna.
I nearly gave it away there. I'll let you into it. It's Wrexham.
Ooh. So you've got Wrexham just missing out on playoffs.
Yeah. I think they're going to have a lot better season. You know, they underachieved last season. I remember when they came to us for the home leg.
0-0, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, 1-1. We were looking, like, we put on the preview score predictions below. Loads of Wrexham fans are putting like 4-1 Wrexham, 3-1 Wrexham, 5-0, like ridiculous scorelines. Yeah. And they had no threat whatsoever. You know, lucky speculative effort, and they scored it. In saying that, I think they're going to have a better season. Everyone's heard the news where, you know, Ryan Reynolds, I can't remember the other guy's name.
It's just all about Ryan Reynolds, isn't it, really?
Pretty much. Is the big name, isn't he? Looking to invest, I believe, £2 million.
Yeah.
To have that investment behind you, that name behind you, is good for any club.
Yeah.
So I do think it's going to, A, attract players, and B, you know, give the team a good push.
So you've got them in 8th. I have just missing out on playoff Halifax. Again, lost some decent players, Josh Staunton being one of them. They did get Ruben Noble Lazarus, who is a bit of a name if you remember him from his time around. He's been around a little bit. They could be good. Again, they just don't have enough for me. It'll be very close. I could see them even missing out on goal difference. I mean, I remember last season Halifax were a decent side, but no, just going to miss out.
Takes me on to 7th though.
Here comes the big 7th.
I've gone Halifax. I think they're just going to make it.
Just got enough.
Yeah, I think that they've been in the league a while. They know what it's about, and I just think they're going to edge it now this season.
Fair play.
And I think they might even get to the final.
Really?
Of the playoffs.
My 7th is Yeovil. Reece Murphy, very good player, but for me, Yeovil should be higher. They should be higher in both our predictions, really, for the side they are. But
yeah. I only put them 12th to rattle a few people.
Did you? Reece Murphy, again, I said it with Harry Buteman for Sutton. If Reece Murphy gets injured, goal machine. I'm sorry.
No,
not going to be great.
You know, they are a quality side. Like you said, they should be higher up. Will they end up higher up in the league?
What do you mean, quality? They lost in the FA Trophy. Not had 9 men, didn't they? You don't beat 9 men.
Jesus Christ.
You know what I mean?
We're going to get mobbed at Yeovil away, aren't we?
Won't be there, so... no. Yeah, I've got Yeovil finishing 7th. Reece Murphy's quality player. The signing's okay, but no, they're a good team. They've already got the quality from last season, haven't they?
Right then, moving on.
6th. Now I've gone Aldershot.
I've gone Hartlepool.
Okay, Hartlepool.
when we went to the away,
Brushed on this, haven't we? Yeah.
yeah, briefly, they absolutely battered us. We didn't have a look in. They've added to the team. I mean, I know we're going to pick Crawford out, but I just think if he can get like persistent first team football, he's going to be class. He was good for, was it Fire when he went on loan season before last? I think it was.
Yeah.
He did good there. You know, he even won the FA Trophy, didn't he? So,
A good player.
great player. Great to add someone like that to your ranks.
I don't think it's a nice place to go as an away day though. The fans were pretty hostile towards Notts.
Yeah.
I mean, it's good for Hartlepool.
Good following.
I've gone Aldershot. Now none of us have mentioned Aldershot yet. They've signed Jamie Sendles-White. He's got EFL experience. Last year they were 12 points off the playoffs despite finishing 18th. So you know, a few different results go, then they're creeping up even closer. It's going to be tight, like you said. And they signed Ross McCormack. Now that's an unbelievable sign on paper. He hasn't played that much lately, but this is something where I genuinely think Ross McCormack plays well. He's a player that comes in, he's a big player.
Mm-hmm.
He's probably the biggest name in the league.
Mm-hmm.
He comes in, he gives everyone a lift. I think they finish 6th. If he comes in, he's got the attitude where he can't open the electric gate again. I could see them being very near the bottom. It all hinges on that.
Electric gates are pesky, to be fair.
They are, but you just train outside them, don't you? You don't drive home.
Just climb over.
Exactly.
Oh,
So
fifth,
I've got
then.
that.
5th. Barnet.
Ooh, where have I got Barnet? 19th.
I know you said that they've lost some of their key players,
Big
right?
players.
Yeah, they've lost their big players, but if they kept those key players, now I'm going to go cliche on you here, would they have that hangover? Possibly. Well, majorly possibly. So I think, you know, they have lost a couple of key players, but they've signed a good few players as well. Some quality players.
Former EFL team in this league again.
Exactly, yeah. So for me, I can see them having a good season. Well, again, really, they did well last season.
I've gone Dagenham and Redbridge in 5th. And again, I like in this league, if you've got a goal scorer, you've got a chance.
Yeah.
That's what I like.
Yeah.
And they've got Paul McCallum, and he's very, very good. Now, they've got a good mixture of goal scoring threat, Paul McCallum. I remember playing Dagenham last season, and it wasn't that easy. It looked comfortable, but they've got some tricky players. They've got a mix of National League experience and youth from a couple of loan signings. I think they're going to have a good season, and I think we've got to watch out for them.
Yeah, definitely.
4th, this is where we're getting big. We'll do all the playoffs. We'll get up to 2nd, and then we'll say who's going to win the playoffs. Yeah?
Yeah.
So 4th, who are you going for?
I've gone Boreham Wood, and I've gone for Boreham Wood because of something that I said earlier about they're a bit of a smaller team.
Yeah.
So they have that less pressure, and I do think they have that quality. Now they had a couple of wing backs last season, and they full backs, wing backs, either way, and they were very good.
Yeah.
Can't remember their names off the top of my head, but they run us ragged, and it was tough for us. So I can see a team like that doing well
Our
again.
fullbacks are facing their goal for 90% of the match, aren't they?
Yeah.
Running back. 4th, so you've got Boreham Wood. I've gone for Solihull. Underachieved last season, but I do say it with, it's good having a striker, but we've already mentioned this. Defensively last season, I think they either conceded the same as Notts or maybe even less. It was like 35 or something like that. Strong defence. I remember going to the away game, Solihull Notts. I think Notts won 1-0. Their defence was unbelievably tough to get past. And Notts had some big scorers on the pitch. And they've got Adam Rooney.
Never heard of him.
Adam Rooney.
I'm joking.
Adam Rooney.
Everyone knows Adam Rooney. Right, on to 3rd.
Yeah, good player. Go for your 3rd.
I've gone Stockport. Maybe
Okay.
controversial. I think they're going to obviously have a good season. They've spent big. They've got John Rooney.
Who's that? I've heard of him.
On the Rooney saga. But yeah, you look. I mean, the pre-season's been a little bit up and down. I think they've taken a few defeats, but the one that stands out is against Guiseley.
Battered him.
5-1. So going into the league with that momentum, I think they're going to do well. But I think that they're just going to miss off because, like I said earlier, football isn't as black as white as chuck money at a team and they're going to do well all season. We've seen it firsthand that it doesn't always work.
3rd place, Notts County. I'm going Notts now.
You make me sick.
Could be starting the season, could be 5 games without Carl Roberts, could be 10. We don't know.
Could be 2.
It could be, but we're saying it's not as bad as first feared. We feared a broken ankle.
It looked pretty severe. He looked
It
like he was in
is,
agony.
yeah. I mean, we're not going to start with him, I'm sure. First few games. Then we've got a Wednesday game. Look, I think third, this is a very tough league, and the teams I've got above Notts, I just feel like they've got the nous a little bit more than we have. So I'm going third place. I think it may take a couple of the players a little bit of time to gel. Sam Rodriguez.
I don't think Rodriguez so much, but I agree with Sam. But we'll move on.
Okay.
Second.
Second.
Am I a loyal fan? I've gone Aldershot. And I've pretty much gone Aldershot for the same reasons that you've gone for Aldershot.
It could go horribly wrong, couldn't it?
It could go horribly wrong, but they've signed McCormack, haven't they? And that, like you said, it lifts the team. It can, someone like that who's got a range of experience really can help, even like such as the goalkeeper. Little hints, little tips, what you do.
Yeah.
I just do think that he's gonna have an impact if
he stays fit.
If he can like get through the gate. I mean, you just got hope, you know.
Second, I've gone Wrexham. Some of the players have signed. Adi Youssef from Blackpool, Devontae Redmond, and the big one for me, he's going to be a standout. I might even have him as top scorer, Jordan Ponticelli. Attacking wise, they've really improved. They can't be as bad as last season. They have a great following. Do you remember the Wrexham fans down at Meadow Lane? I know they're not going to be there, but they've got a great following. They're a big team. I would like to see them do well this season.
Yeah, I think for me personally, best away team.
Following,
yeah. Like they had the place bouncing, but like we shushed them after that.
So if you haven't already guessed, that leaves you with Notts to win the league.
Yep.
And leaves me with Stockport to win the league. Reasons for Notts?
I'll let you go first.
All right, I'll go Stockport. The signings: Connor Jennings, John Rooney, Alex Reid from Stevenage. They're the names that speak for themselves, don't they?
They do.
And
especially when you look at the likes of, even I mentioned it, John Rooney. You know, he's just got promotion with Barrow.
They remind me of Barrow.
Yeah.
Whereas if Barrow, in terms of squad depth, if Barrow had have got 3 or 4 injuries, we saw it with the red card to Quigley when Notts played. They're in a mess.
Yeah.
If they can keep this team, they might sign more. If they can keep them fresh, can't see many teams beating them.
And that is exactly why I've chosen Notts, because if we fall injury, I know you said about Carl Roberts, but you say Carl Roberts, you've got Enzio and Rodriguez to fill in the sort of void of his position. And for me personally, I don't think you can really get better backup than that for your wingers.
Agreed.
I mean, strike force, you've got Wharton, Knowles, who looks very good.
Yeah, good.
Thomas, and Sam. I mean, Sam, I'm yet to be, decided, but I do think with time it will come along. You know, that video we put on Twitter, amazing finisher. So hopefully you can sort of get some playing time together, gel with the squad and get it going. But I just think if we can carry that momentum that we had last season, forget about the playoffs, that's done now. I think we've just got that winner attitude about the team.
Yeah.
Audley said it in his presser after York, like that is just something you want to forget about. 3-0 loss to York. But he said he waited 5 minutes before going into the dressing room because he could hear them all arguing with each other. That's the mentality that you want the players to have. They want to be there to discuss why they didn't win and not just get the bag and sulk and go home.
Yeah.
That's the mentality we want, and I can honestly see us finishing first. And I know it's cliche because we're a Notts channel, but
very quickly then, who's your playoff winners?
Bonnet.
And you've already said you could see, was it Halifax losing in the final?
Yeah.
So Bonnet win Halifax. I'm going for Notts win in the playoff final to avenge what happened with Harrogate, and I think Notts are going to beat Wrexham in the final. Imagine fans back in for that. That would be a fantastic game. Notts Wrexham in the final.
The place.
Would fill the place more than your Man Cities, whoever they are.
Who? Empty out.
Yeah, exactly. That wraps up our predictions for the season. Obviously, it's a bit of fun. We're probably not going to get any right, bar maybe 2 or 3.
I reckon I'll get 1 right.
Do you?
Top of the
Weymouth. So don't take it too seriously. It's just a bit of a laugh. We'd love to know if we're going to get abused for this. We'd love to know what you think in the comment section below. If you can be bothered, put your 1 to 24 in there. We'll do a reaction, won't we, at the end of the season. And a couple of days' time, 3 days, we'll have the Dover preview.